Hello and good evening, my friends, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. How's it going, Eric?
Good, how are you?
Good. You had a long day today, huh?
Yeah.
It's your first day as a substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure lots of parents appreciate you for stepping into that. So,
You know, I'm here to sit in classrooms and butcher people's names.
people's names. I feel that. Lots of people butchered my names over the years. My name over the years.
I misplaced my water bottle. Hopefully I find it tomorrow.
I'm sure you
It's a rough day.
All right, well, we're here to spend a couple of minutes talking about the message from this past Sunday. We kicked off a new series, and I think that there was a lot of excitement leading up to this because it's just a really fun topic or idea for a series, and it's called The Gospel According to Rock and Roll.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool idea, and you want to just kind of give a couple of thoughts about the inner workings of this series?
Yeah, I think we could even start with the memory verse.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that really...
Yeah.
So our memory verse comes from Acts 17:27, where Paul says, God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us.
I love the last part of that.
Yeah, what a good God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the heart is like Paul went into the intellectual hub and met people where they're at. And when Josh and Mark were dreaming up this series, that's kind of the heart behind playing non-Christian music in a worship service. Is just finding ways to meet people in their everyday lives by songs that they probably listened to quite a bit in the past.
Well, I think, and I'm going to get this not exactly right, I know, but like the tagline for the series is like, what if we're all pursuing, people are always pursuing God, not even knowing that that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I made that way longer than it needs to be, but...
yeah, I'm sure if Mark came up with it, it was less than 5 words.
It's succinct. But that, you see themes of that in music so often, and I think... it's true. We all are. When I look back on my life before I was following Jesus, I see many ways that I was looking for something bigger than what I currently had in my life.
Yep.
Yeah. I was telling you before this about how I think sometimes music just connects some ideas for us differently than if we were just having a conversation or whatnot. And we've talked a lot about Hamilton in the last couple of weeks because you recently discovered the masterpiece that's Hamilton. And I said for myself, I am so dumb when it comes to history. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. And but when I watched Hamilton, I learned so much about history, and I found myself really having more interest in the things that I was learning about there because the music just connected differently with me than if I was just reading it in a textbook.
Yeah.
And I think that can be true for all genres of music, for, rock and roll, especially worship music. I had mentioned to Carolee the other day where you hear a song so many times and the lyrics have never changed, right? But you hear it that one time and you're like, that hit me a little bit differently that time.
Yeah, music is a crazy thing. We were talking about how, me and Rhett were talking about how Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls is a big song for me that just causes these different feelings because that was, during my depression, was probably the most played song during that time. And just how music has a way of just really allowing emotions to flow and
I would
different
agree.
Experiences in different places in your life. You experience songs differently.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the main topic in this message from Josh this past week was about Judas. And do you want to just give a little bit of a summary of that?
Yeah, so we bounced around a couple of texts. But in essence, the story is we started with he shared some earlier stories, but we get to the night of the Last Supper in which Judas betrays. He leaves and goes off to betray Christ. And then after the fact, just this remorse and pain of Judas realizing what he had done. And he went to return the silver, they didn't take it, and he ended up ending it all. And it's such a hard story.
It's a very hard story. And Josh said, you know, it could have been any one of us. It could have been me. It could have been you. And we think like the ways that we, you know, that we deny Jesus or we don't surrender control of our lives to him.
Yeah.
So we can, you know, tend to look at the story with like a really judgy attitude, but in reality, we need to say, God, like, search me. Where do I have that kind of, where am I capable of that kind of betrayal? And like, root it out of me.
Yeah, we all have that same darkness. And that's why I think it's so beautiful, and I'm happy Josh hit on it, that even through all that, Christ still loved Judas. And that's the same sort of posture we should be taking in all of our relationships and life. Yeah.
Well, this series is going to explore some hard topics as usual, and so, I mean, I think we have the potential to grow and learn, just like with all of the series. But I just love what a I say fun idea. You know, I think it's a compelling way to
it's going to be fun
to put the word on display.
Yeah.
All right, so if you missed Sunday, you can catch it on our YouTube at Move 603. And we want you to come and join us here, whether you come in person or online, Sundays at 9:30 and 11. And this series is going to take us all the way through Easter. And so don't forget to put out those Easter invitations to your friends and family. We know just, you know, from being in the church planting world, I guess, if you want to call it that you know, friends and family who are not churchgoers are much more likely to accept an invitation to like an Easter service. So you have some opportunities to invite your families to Easter Jam or to Sunday Easter service. So start putting those feelers out now and see and think about who you can invite. And we'll see you here on Sunday and then next week at 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yep.
All right, have a great week.
See you.